Hey there, guys and gals. Welcome to part 2 of our episode with Frankie Moreno. If you haven't heard part 1 yet, make sure to go back and check it out. Now for the rest of the interview.
You talked about Vegas. When did you get there, and what hotel did you open up in?
I got out here. I've been here about 20 years.
Oh, you're still there now?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I moved to Nashville, and then I moved to Vegas from Nashville, and I've been here about 20 years. And I guess I played in bars forever because every casino said we don't do original music, and we started lying and saying, "Here, I did the Beethoven mentality. I'm the Prince of Persia, right?" I said, "Here's a song I just wrote for Dave Matthews," and you go, "Oh my God, I love that song. You wrote that?" Yep. And next thing you know is we have a following because everyone's coming to hear me do these songs that they're thinking I wrote. Or I would do my originals and lie and say, "This is an upcoming John Mayer song that you haven't heard yet. I wrote this." And I wrote it. And then at the end of the show, I would say, "Actually, I wrote all those songs. They're on my record. Like those are mine. Those aren't by these guys." We built a following. Until the following became real, and then all of a sudden real artists started coming in and asking me to write songs for them because people were starting to hear my music. And that catapulted into a career.
Yeah.
I mean, of Vegas. And then next thing you know is we have so many people following us in Vegas that we couldn't fit in the rooms. So the next logical step was bigger rooms, until it was headlining in showrooms. And we started headlining showrooms. I started playing the Stratosphere, and then we went to Golden Nugget, Planet Hollywood, Caesar's Palace, South Point Casino. I mean, it snowballed itself, and then it has nothing to do with who's recording my music or who I've worked with anymore. It's just, do you like the songs? Do you like the music? Are you having fun? As simple as that.
Just to change the topic for a second. So I'm up here in rural Canada, 2 hours north of Toronto. Lockdown's happening. What's it like in Vegas?
Terrible. We're locked down.
You're locked down too.
Well, the casinos, it's a very arbitrary setup here. I mean, things are open. A casino's open. So people can be in a casino, but you can't play guitar in a casino, or piano or whatever. You can't play music. So you
can't
can
play
have
music, but you can.
You could have 1,000 people flying in from all over the country and congregating in a swimming pool, making out with each other.
Yeah.
But I can't pick up a guitar and sing my song that I wrote because you'll get COVID.
Yeah. With a mask on. Yeah.
It's insane. So I've been just doing little, very, very small private parties and stuff like that. But so we turned to that. That's what happened this year is we turned to writing music.
Yep.
I said, this is a great time where, it's hard. We were traveling a lot. We were playing all over Europe and traveling all over the country playing symphony. The last year before all this happened, I just sang at Madison Square Garden. And before that was Carnegie Hall and the Kennedy Center before that. And clubs all over the country, performing arts centers, casinos. We had records hitting #1 for us over and over and over and ready to go out and hit Europe again. And boom, lockdown. And so, just as we went into lockdown, I think it was March 16th or 17th, I had a record that came out March 20th. It was a Hawaiian reggae record. And it was the first record to chart digitally for me. Like only digitally. We didn't sell hard copies because we had no shows. I saw that we hit like #2 on the reggae charts. And then the Billboard Charts, iTunes charts, everything. And we're like, what if I try this digital thing? I've never done that. Let me record another song. So I recorded one that sounded very similar to that record, another reggae type thing. I say reggae, that vibe. We put out a song and hit #1. And we're like, let's try it again. I always like to try it and let's try it. Let's take this away and see. And if we take this away and that makes it not sell as much, that means put that back in. Like, let's not just wing it on luck. Let's learn. Let's have some unsuccessful things. So let's try releasing it on this day. And we did that. And it was #7. Okay, that didn't work. Put it back up. Okay, #1. Let's take this away. Oh, #3. Oh, no, that didn't work. Put it back up. #1. And we start building this system of learning how to release the music and who we're hitting. And then we had a train of 30 in a row, number one singles that we released. Every single week we released a single.
That was all in 1 year, wasn't
it? Yeah, 2020. So actually, my songwriting partner, I heard her just walk in the door not long ago. She started writing these things with me, and we started the idea of let's write it every single week. Let's put out a song. Now that's tough, man. I mean, every week we got to write, record, arrange, produce, mix, master, get ISRC codes, get it up on iTunes, promote it, and get it out every week. And we said, what we're going to do is we're going to give all the money to the COVID-19 relief fund so I can start performing again. And we've raised them, I don't know, over $250,000, giving all the money to them. And it's allowed me to have all these number one singles. It's been what we've been doing. So now we took a break for Christmas, and now we start again. We start every Friday, we release a song.
Wow.
Different vibe, different genre, different whatever, just whatever that song is. And being able to do the singles is nice because it allows me to not have to write a thematic thing. Like if I'm feeling hip hop today, that's what it's going to be. You know, keeping in mind what our fan base likes and all that, but having some freedom, and no one's telling me what to do. And I sit in this room and we write a song and we release it, and that's where it ends. That's what I've been doing during lockdown because I can't perform. So it's actually been a blessing in disguise for me because I'm building up my arsenal of music and creating all these hits, which so when we go back out and finally get to play, I could play a whole show full of songs that have been number one songs, you know? So it's been good for me, you know, but obviously that comes with a whole lot of tragedy and negative as well. So.
Do you have a gut feel when you're writing a song and you know you're just hitting your stride? This is going to be a number one song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be a number one song. Number one is very difficult. I mean, you have to sell 100,000 copies of a song like in a day to get a number one song. I mean, it's hard. But I know when it's going to be a hit, meaning a top 10 or something. Mm-hmm. I know. I stop working on it if it's not. Like we just go, this is stupid. You know, you just know like it has all the elements. You have to have all the elements, like the quick breakdown. You have to have a good, memorable melody, cool chord progression, great sounding production, a hook that makes you remember it. You have to have all those elements. That's the structure. That's the blueprint, right? But now if it has no depth or meaning, where this song needs to mean something different to me, to you, and to your son, like and the woman who lives next door and the little kid down the street. We all need to listen to this and hear something that means ourselves. That's why when people go like, hey, what's this song about? I don't know. It's different to me than it is to you, you know? So like you have to have that passion and the thing that makes a hit song. To chart a song in the top 200, you have to have all those elements. To have a top 10 song, you have to have all those elements plus passion, belief, and a true emotional connection, right? That just worked. It just worked. Like here's an actual story that breaks my heart, put to perfect music that'll break your heart. You could take the lyric out and the music still breaks your heart. You could take the music away, just read the lyric, it breaks your heart, or makes you happy, whatever the topic is, right? An emotional connection. To have a number one, you have to have all that and a whole shit ton of luck and a lot of people that are rooting you on. That's
the formula.
That's the formula.
Wow.
And so thinking of that, like for upcoming people, learn the craft. Mm-hmm. Don't bother doing it if you have no emotional connection. Who cares if your music sounds badass? Listen to any of the Beatles songs. Some of that stuff does not sound good quality. It doesn't matter. It's not about the production of the song. The production's important to get the point across. But the clarity, is the snare drum this much louder, or did you use that snare drum? Who gives a shit? You know? Sorry, I don't mean to be cussing.
Yeah, no problem.
Wash away all that. Learn the craft and the art. Learn all that important stuff. And then really just get an emotional connection. What are you trying to say? And if you don't have something important to say, don't say it. Don't say it. Don't open your mouth if it's not an important thing that's going to help someone in their life or improve their life or make them think about their life, laugh, cry, or smile, right? Then the next thing you need to do once you start having those is really find the people on your social media or whatever who really care what you're doing, and ignore the rest. Don't speak to the whole. You ever heard like a teacher say, if I'm teaching a class and 4 kids are paying attention, those are the ones I'm teaching? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with music. When I release a song, 4 people in the audience are loving it. That's now who I'm writing my music for. The people who in the back who don't care, they're just partying because it's a dance groove, they mean nothing anymore, right? Find the people that I connect with and start building those people and talking to them. When I post something on Facebook, I am talking to the people who care about what I have to say. I'm not talking about to the 100,000 people who don't care, you know. Learn that trait, and that's how you write hit songs. It's pretty simple. You don't even need to be a good musician, really. That's what holds you. That's what sustains you. Sting and Paul Simon and Paul McCartney are still hanging around because they're great. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people who make hit songs that are not great.
Right. You know? But they know how to use that community.
Or they found someone who knows how to do it, and they do it for them. You know how to, it's about having a purpose, finding the people that care about that purpose. That's how you have success in any business. That's the key to success, isn't it? I mean, just paying attention. I pay very close attention to not what you think about my music, but if you like it or not. Music's subjectable, like just like food. Like if you don't like asparagus, I'm not going to try to serve you asparagus, right? I'm not going to just start all of a sudden making my restaurant an asparagus restaurant because you like asparagus. Like, just find who likes what it is that you do. I don't serve asparagus here. Well, I'm only coming for serve asparagus. Well, go to a different restaurant, you know? There's fine lines with that. The places who are really successful, the music that's really successful, the business that's successful, are the ones that just pay attention to their customers or their friends. I mean, I don't call them fans because that's a weird word. I feel like I'm a fan of music probably more than they are. I'm a fan of the song. The song, I'm a vessel to write the song. I learn the craft, but the songs kind of just make themselves, and I just know how to take it and form it and release it. Catching a butterfly, and you know. But the thing is like, I feel I really listen to what's going on in the world. How do I want to fit into that zone? You know, am I going to be the political guy? Am I going to be the anti this guy? And I'm not any of those guys. I'm the guy that wants to be someone who, when I was 4 years old, looked at Mozart like he was a wizard. And I want to be that. And I want to do that for some little kid one day. That to me is worth any, trading all the gold records and all the number ones and all the fans, whatever. I want to be that guy. And when I see people at the audience getting that sense, they're the ones that employ me. If they don't come, I don't work. If they don't buy the records, I don't have hits. So I'm the fan of them, really. They're my boss. I mean, that's how I started playing showrooms, just having enough people. It wasn't because some guy in a suit said, "You're good, kid, play here and let's see what happens." It's, you can't deny the amount of people that wanted to come. You know, like once you obtain that, once you have an army behind you, you can't stop me, you know?
It's funny. I can hear the passion. You know, it's just oozing through.
I love it, man. I mean, music to me is magic. It really is. I mean, I've been doing it my whole life, and I can't even tell you what the last song I released was, which was a couple weeks ago, because we're churning them out so fast. But I want to sit back one day when for some reason maybe the passion's not there, and I want to look at my body of work and go, "Damn, that's badass," you know?
Right.
I really want that. I want that feeling. I want to not rest right now while I'm into it, and I know I'm passionate, and I feel the fire. And what am I going to do? Not acknowledge it? Like, it's burning. I'm going to let it rage, you know? So knowing that one day maybe it won't. Maybe it will always rage. I mean, I hope to God it does, but maybe it won't. So what happens when it won't? What happens when one day when my hands don't work anymore, or my brain's not thinking clearly anymore? And now I've got a body of work that I can feel like that was my reason we all have a reason for being on the planet. That was my reason, to make someone going through a divorce hear something in a song that makes them feel they're not alone, or make someone who has to put a dog down, or make someone who just fell in love for the first time. All those things I want to be able to communicate to people, to let them know through a song, like, you're not alone, you know? And while I feel it and while I have it, I'm gonna use it.
All right, very cool. I am wondering, is there a distinct sound or way of writing because you're in Vegas? Like, and the way what I'm talking about is, we know Nashville has a sound, well, for the most part. We know Detroit and Motown. What about Vegas?
No.
No?
Vegas is reliant on the past. They like the Rat Pack. I've been trying forever to change. I mean, we have a lot of great acts come out here. I mean, Imagine Dragons, Panic at the Disco. A lot of big names have come out of Vegas, from Vegas. We don't have a sound like Memphis or Austin or Nashville or New York or, you know, Bay Area. Mm-hmm. We don't have a sound, but we focus, our thing is focused on entertainment, right? On the show. So people from Memphis and New York come here because you want to hear that music here, and then they put on their show, you know? So that's what we benefit here is the visual combined with, we're the music, we're the live music video is what we have here. But for me, being here in Vegas, that's been a struggle too, because I'm an original artist, you know. I'm not singing My Way by Frank Sinatra, you know. I'm not that guy. So I wanted to be the guy who kind of, like, you know, like the bands that come out, like I just mentioned, Imagine Dragons, so they come out and then they go into the international world. But like the guys like the Rat Pack, who we had and like loved, they were part of the fabric of the city. And I wanted to be that because I love the city. It's made me acquire a fan base that I wouldn't have had. You know, I didn't have that opportunity in another place. And I am glad in the sense that there is no style, because I don't have to be, you know, if I'm BB King and I'm living in Memphis, I better play the blues. You know, that's why it all works. The fact that I live here, if there was a genre, let's say the genre was, you know, country music, and if I didn't do that, I'd be an outsider. So I don't have any handcuffs in this city. I can just make music, whatever that music may be.
Right.
But I definitely travel to Detroit and to Memphis to listen to their sounds, to get influenced.
All right. So on that note of travel, where's been your favorite venue to play?
Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall, my grandfather, when I was a kid, used to tell me, one day you'll play Carnegie Hall, and that's how you know. I played there a couple times, and we sold it out. And walking on that stage was feeling like, Britney Spears and people like that aren't people that they put in Carnegie Hall. Carnegie Hall is purely a technical thing. It's not famous, right? Madison Square Garden is fame. If you're famous, you play there because you have enough people. Carnegie Hall has nothing to do with how famous you are. It's what's your quality. So for me, standing on there was kind of a validation to my own self. Like, all right, I guess I'm doing it right, But that being said, there's been a lot of places that have, I don't appreciate Carnegie Hall more than I appreciate playing in a small nightclub for 50 people either. It's just different.
Yeah. I guess you have to adjust, these different size venues, and wherever you are in the world, there's a lot of adjustment, isn't there?
Oh yeah. Well, that's another trick to being a successful artist. Like, play the room for the room. I used to watch peers and stuff go into small clubs and go, "What's up, Vegas?" or "What's up, Austin?" There's 40 people in here,
Yeah.
Or the thing, "How you guys doing tonight? How's everybody doing tonight?" Not actually asking how they're doing. Just that's part of what he's supposed to say, right? I'd go into a club and I'd look at everyone in the face and go, "How are you guys doing?" Like, "Hey, nice to meet you. Let's get to know each other." And we're all at a potluck and I'm bringing the music, That's what I'm bringing to the potluck. You have to play the room. When I play Carnegie Hall, I don't go out there and go, or Madison Square Garden, last big show I played. You don't go out there and you go, hey, how you guys doing? That's where you go. I go, what's up, New York? You have to do that because now it's broad.
Yeah.
So music is treating every moment for the moment. A live concert happens one time. A live concert, if you're seeing me sing this song right in front of you live, it's it. It'll never be exactly like that again. Never. Even if it's the same tempo, same chord, same song. I'm mentally in a different place, right? Songs that I've sung forever, like a love song or something about someone from the past, means something different to me now when I sing. And that's okay. You got to be there. You got to be in that zone. Same thing in the recording. Like a recording, you make that recording, that's that moment. That's it. It's not who I am now. It's not who I was before. It's that instant. So music's kind of special like that, And if musicians treated that way, I think that would also change the music industry, because a lot of people now just want fame.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to notice them rather than listen to them.
Yes, that is a pet peeve.
Yeah, not that having a cool visual or something going with it. I mean, if I hearing a guy singing a song about drinking whiskey, that guy better drink whiskey.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear a guy talk about drinking whiskey and cheating that goes home to a happy life and never touch alcohol. I don't want to hear that from that guy. I don't want to hear a song about how he's so much in love when you got a guy out there fooling around. I don't want to hear that from that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want real music by real people, done as good as it can possibly be, thought through. And if he's singing about whiskey, he should have a glass of whiskey in his hand while he's singing the song, right? I want the visual,
mm-hmm.
but it shouldn't be about creating a visual to sell myself to you, to make more people follow me on Instagram. That doesn't even do anything for me anyway. It's about having you be interested in why I do what I do. And do you want to hear what I've devoted a life to? Do you want to or not? Like, if you do, listen to it and then decipher if you like it or not. But
yeah, these fake personas.
Yeah, nobody wants a poser,
Yeah, exactly. So Hayden, I'm going to bring you in. I'm sure you have some questions as well.
Yeah, I saw that you did, what was it? The Gibson virtual residency. Yeah, I'm wondering how that came to be. And I know like a lot of musicians are like missing playing with their full band. Like you see like some virtual like shows with like people in their homes, but I believe you got to play with like the full setup, right? And perform that way. Like how did that
so I started releasing those songs every week, and so what I started doing was just going on Facebook Live and talking about them, and I would sing songs. And it turned in a little more where it was like, okay, now I'll go on because people are expecting songs now. And so I'd go on and I'd, sing songs for an hour, just right here, just playing my songs. Then this place opened up, this place called Craig Ranch Amphitheater. It was a beautiful, big venue that would hold 8,000 people here in Vegas that it's being used for nothing right now. And they're like, hey, like, what if you came out here and like put the band together and we play here and we do this virtual residency? I'm like, play for nobody? Like, that'd be weird. He goes, well, nobody has done the full band production thing yet. And I'm always all about being a first, you gotta be the first to the best. And you don't have to be the best to be the first either. So I thought, well, this would be a cool thing. Like, this would be cool. And very first guitar I ever had was a Gibson L7. That's my grandfather's from 1942 that I still have. And I have since become quite a guitar collector. I mean, you can't see half the stuff in this room. And this is one room of 12 rooms that have guitars. I've got every kind of Gibson guitar, and I only use Gibson guitars, and I've just loved them. I have one Martin that I play that I like. But they started giving me guitars, and I became a brand ambassador for them. Not like just like some kind of like, I get a deal from them. They're like, here's a guitar. And I'm not a great guitar player by any means. I'm a piano player, but I only write on guitar. I write all my music on guitar because I know a lot less about it than I do on the piano. On the piano, I tend to write over my own head. Where guitar, I write a little more simplistic. It's a tool for me. It's a writing tool. It's like it's a pen.
Right.
And so Gibson started getting really heavily involved in using me for all their stuff. And they must have given me 100 guitars. And they also give me about 100 guitars every year to give out to schools to learn to play guitar. And so we'll fund like all the merchandise money we sell at our shows. I fund a guitar teacher for a school. And then Gibson will give me guitars to give to them. And we'll start a guitar class or something like that, just because it's important for the kids to have some kind of interest. We'll go and I'll talk to them a little bit about music and we'll sign all their guitars. And then they get to keep the guitar from the class, which is really cool. So Gibson's like, hey, let us get involved in this thing and we'll start posting it on our pages and whatever. We set up a six week concert thing with the band, and we did it, and we hit like 1.2 million viewers or something like that. It was awesome because we were hitting 1 million people, and it was fun getting to play with my band. But without an audience connection, it really sucked. You know, it was like there was no give and take. It was just me singing and hoping people were watching. You know.
Right. I guess that's one of the hard parts about, or maybe that a lot of people don't realize too, like, especially for performers. I mean, it's not, the energy just doesn't come from you. It is a conversation between you and the audience, and like, trading vibes.
But it was certainly better playing with me and the band doing that than me sitting here by myself doing it, because me sitting here by myself, like right now, at least I can see you guys when we're talking.
Yeah.
Like Facebook Live, it's just me singing, seeing myself, and comments go by, but they're going by so fast I can't read them. I try to stop and scroll and see if people have questions, but I mean, even if they're just moving like this, like, hey, what happened with it? You know, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm just sitting here singing a song going like, well, I'm not entertaining myself. If I wanted to entertain myself, I'd write a new song.
That was your question, Hayden.
Mm-hmm.
Man, oh man, I thought you'd be loaded up. You two musicians, you know. So, all right. So this is a simple question then. What does the future hold for you?
Well, right now we just hit our 30th #1 single.
That's crazy.
So that puts us at #3 for the most #1 singles in the history of music. George Strait's at #1 with 60 #1s. Madonna's at #2 with 50. And then we come in #3 with 30. So I guess my goal is to beat that record. So I never really set goals for myself because I don't know. I change my mind all the time. I want to be better, constantly get better. But I guess my goal right now is I want 100 #1 records. We did a thing where we released the most top 10 albums in one year on Billboard Charts.
Yeah.
The Beatles had 3. And we had 6. And part of that's because no one makes 6 albums in a year. But having that record was cool because like I thought, well, God, we doubled the record. No one's going to make 6 records and have them all hit top 10. No way. Not while I'm alive, you know. So once we beat the record of 4, we thought, okay, let's beat it again. 5, let's beat it again. 6. Like no one's going to get it now until we ran out of time. That's a record every 2 months, full album. I thought that was the most challenging thing I've ever done in my life, but it turns out doing a single every week is certainly more challenging. I work about 14 hours a day.
Wow.
In fact, as soon as I hang up with you, my songwriting partner, like I told you, showed up at the house just a little bit ago. I have to start the song for the week, you know, for next week. It's certainly hard to try to do 15 hours a day. You know, I do things like this, like what we're doing, or I have to do phone calls or set up meetings. And the more I do those things, the less I have slack time in the day, you know? So I have to work extra hard, which means I have to go, you know, instead of working till 8 p.m., I have to work till 10 or work till midnight or work till 2 to get it done in time. And I guess the future is trying to see if I can stay consistent with that as long as I can. I'd love to try to get 100 #1s just because I think that would be insane. And we're not doing it with any publicity. You know, I was watching some stuff we were talking about MTV. There's a thing called Vivo that also is like a musical thing. And saw some big song, Nicki Minaj or something like that. I'm like, wow, this is cool. And I Googled it and whatever. and it was #2 song. So just because a song is in your face or you know it all the time doesn't mean it's a #1 song. #1 means it's the most sold song, right? Doesn't mean it's the most popular song. It's the most sold song. And so like when we're getting these #1s, we're not promoting that anywhere. I don't have time. And with COVID, what am I supposed to do? Fly to Texas right now on a plane and do a morning show and pitch my music? You know, I'm sitting in this room writing songs. So I'm looking at like, we're just going to build the content and then promote it next year, you know? But right now we're at the 3rd spot for #1s. And I guess my goal is to not only be the #1 spot, but make sure no one beats me while I'm alive, you know? So that my kids can look at that. And, you know, right now my kids could give 2 shits what I'm doing, but
Yeah.
you know, I go, hey, did you tell your buddy Dad's #1 on the charts this week? Oh, they don't listen to your music, Dad, you know? But one day when they're my age or whatever, they'll look back and they'll go, wow, that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So, and the only reason I even want that is just for my own personal gain, I guess, just something to do. Mm-hmm. And if I were to have something like that makes it more susceptible that young kid I talked about earlier that might see me one day and want to play the piano has a better odds of knowing me, knowing I existed.
Right.
Knowing what I had to go through to stop listening to people and knowing it's okay that people are going to tell you suck and that you're no good. You know, it's all okay. So I guess that's my future.
I got to know your process. Like when you're talking about turning out, you know, these records, these singles week after week after week, how you doing it?
Would you mind if I brought someone on camera for this?
No, not at all.
Gianna,
if Hayden would switch it back.
So this is a friend of mine. So I've always written with my brother Tony. He's my bass player and he writes with me all the time. But during COVID, we didn't get to see each other a lot. So there's this girl. Her name is Gianna Adams. She's coming up here right now, and I'll let her kind of help. So this is an interview I'm doing. This is Gianna.
What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing fine, thanks.
So she writes the music with me. So he just asked the question. I thought it'd be good for you to fill in too, since I've been talking this whole time. Like, what's the process? We said we're releasing a song every single week. Mm-hmm. What's the process?
Right.
Sitting down and doing it.
Thank you, Gianna.
Yeah. No, it's fun. It's usually just kind of what we're in the mood for. I mean, he especially goes through phases of like obsessing over genres, just to out him.
You know how we were talking about that earlier with like Brian Wilson and stuff like that? Like,
right.
I get into them and I'll get into someone and I'll study them and who they listen to, and I'll absorb and I'll know exactly the kind of song I want to write.
Yeah, and he'll dress like them and talk like them. It's a whole embodiment experience. But usually we end up on that track. So we do like 3 or 4 songs in the style of something that like we're feeling inspired about, and then it fluctuates, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, so that sounds kind of freaky what you just said, but it's kind of half true. Like, I mean, I'll get into the zone of them, and I want to learn what they were going through. I'm not trying to rip their sound or their vibe. I want to learn who Brian Wilson's a great example. Like, I mean, he's all about the 4 freshmen and Chuck Berry, as we talked about. Chuck Berry used to like Charles Brown, the piano player, and Louis Jordan and all those guys. Louis Jordan used to listen to these guys before them, and that used to go all the way back to Chopin, which listened to Beethoven, to Mozart, to Bach, right? The whole thing we talked about before. So I like to just go like, where are they at? And if I'm doing like an 80s sounding song, you know, and lately I've been into that. So let me find like an 80s vest to wear, right?
So you're serious? You'll dress up?
Yeah, I mean, not like in a costume.
Well, yeah, not in a costume.
Right.
More so like you obsess over the character, and then as the days go on, you're like, huh.
Yeah, if I'm
You're starting to look like this person.
If I start really listening to Brian Wilson, this stuff, it's not dressing like Brian Wilson. It's just like, what was he influenced by? What was going on at that time? And just naturally, you know, I'm not going out and buying, you know, flower long colored shirts, but like, what do I have that like kind of feels like, if I'm going to sit down and write a song, I want the whole thing, you know, I don't want to be in a cowboy hat writing a classical song, you know. Not that I put on a powdered wig, but I mean, this sounds crazy. There's a little dramatic, but basically try to embody the situation. And the first thing that I do is I'll get an idea of a sound I want. So let's say this is Monday, right? Song was just released on Friday. Yay, number one. Saturday and Sunday, we go to get donuts and drink champagne and celebrate number one. Monday, back to work. So Monday, and it takes about 10 days. I have to turn it in by the following Wednesday in order to be up for the following Friday. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I work from Monday to the second Wednesday. So 10 days. And so we're a little bit ahead of schedule. So the song coming out this week, for instance, was turned in, 10 days ago. So I'll get an idea for a vibe of the song, and then I'll start noodling on the piano, just getting a concept, right? So here's the concept. Here's kind of a melody. Gianna here is amazing with lyrics. So I'll call her up and I'll sample the song to her, and I'll say, here's the gist of the song. I'm thinking, what if it's about this? And it doesn't always end up being about that.
Yeah,
it ends up whatever. But it just to have a rough structure, and I'll give it to her, and she'll say, oh, and by the way, we were talking about how, you're recommending someone to interview for this thing. She'd be a great one for another one down the road, by the way.
Perfect.
Yeah. She's a phenomenal songwriter. I mean, I don't even think you really play any instruments.
I play enough.
I
would never claim to play an instrument around him ever.
She's a lyricist, and she knows music like that. And so, like, for me, I sit at the piano or the guitar or whatever, and it's usually a guitar when we write, and we'll get this theme we had. I'll send it to her. She'll kind of noodle some ideas down. We'll sit right here, and hammer it out in 20, 30 minutes, the song. It takes 30 minutes to write the song, because if it's good, it'll write itself, right? Then the process is recording. So then we'll just sit here and I'll lay a piano down, then I'll lay a guitar down, then I'll play the bass. And during these COVID things, by the way, I've been having to play every single instrument on it: drums, bass, guitar, piano, all the background vocals, and I'll bring over my horn section to do horns, because I don't play any horns. But then we finish it, and I send it to my mixer. His name's Christos Gatsimos, who's the son of a old country singer named Crystal Gale. Have you ever heard of her?
Oh, yeah.
With the long hair.
Yeah.
You kind of look like Crystal Gale right now. And I'll send it to him, and then he'll mix it. And then we'll jump on like what we're doing right now, where we can see each other. And he'll play it from his studio, but I'm hearing it out of my studio speakers. Like a live mix over online, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah, lower this here, lower this there. And we've learned to be really fast about it. I hate when I tell people we're working fast, like, oh, we'll write a song in 20 minutes. People think, oh, we're not spending time. Mm-hmm. We're just fast at it. Like Hayden said earlier, like learning guitar tab and stuff like that. Well, for me, I didn't have to do that. It was just a different process, right? So it's the same thing with the songwriting and the recording. Like once a song is written, once we sit here and we have an idea with a guitar and a lyric, I hear the song in my head. I'm not wondering, does this song have a horn part that happens right here, or the background singers come in here, or there's a double snare hit that goes into the chorus? I know, I hear it already. So now it's just, transcribing it, right?
You were talking about the very beginning of the podcast about an album that you just released, Hawaiian Reggae.
Hawaiian Honey. Yes.
So the genre was Hawaiian Reggae, correct?
Yeah, I called it reggae, but it charted in reggae, and it also charted in a thing called world, because Hawaiian, reggae is a specific thing, instrumentation wise and everything. And I used ukulele and lap steel and all that stuff, which makes it a thing called Joaian, which there's not really a chart for. So it charts in reggae and whatever, but it charted in world music and reggae music.
Yeah, I used to live out in Kona for a while, so used to Pepper, which is a very big band, and also got hooked on this other kind of music. You're out there. It sounds like just like me. Every door opens with music, but Hawaiian swing music.
Oh, hell yeah. But that's basically like the old kind of 50s style, isn't it? Like the laps, they kind of like, The Hawaiian sound has a very retro sound to it because when Hawaii became popular to the U.S., it was during that time, and the music has kind of stayed in that zone, almost country swing, Western swing. When you say with the steel guitars and stuff.
Yeah, it's incredible, like that genre. I know I used to just on Wednesdays, I'd go down and watch this Grammy Award-winning band that they do this for free because they just love the music, and go and watch them every Wednesday. It was fantastic.
Yeah, Hawaii is really cool too because Hawaii, a very good friend of mine is Kelly Boy from a band called Kapana. They're a very famous Hawaiian band on the Oahu side and all that, and he's like one of the top guys out there, and we became very close. And I'll go watch him, and he's singing in like a happy hour just out at the pool deck, and this guy's got hit records.
Yeah,
they're very cool with that. Like, I don't know what happened to music in general, where the persona thing has killed everything. The persona that you got to drive a limousine and come out in a fur coat and you only play in stadiums, and I don't get it. Like, my icons, and I'm not talking the Elvis stuff that I like too. I'm talking about like the Mozarts and stuff like that. They just wrote music and played music for gatherings. And whether that gathering is a zillion people or your close family, it's the same impact. I feel the same thing playing, like I told you, I've been doing these little small things through COVID, these little private parties. I feel the same thing playing in front of 50 people as I did standing in front of 20,000 at Madison Square. Like, it's honestly the same feeling. It's a different presentation, but it's the same feeling you go home with. I mean, I don't feel better that 10,000 people scream for me. In fact, it's harder because you don't even see the people. It's that many people. I like seeing the people, like there's some music has changed its whole thing. And that's what's I like that. I go to Hawaii all the time. I was actually just there 2 weeks ago. I love that they come out and I sit there and I have a drink and I listen to them play music, and I fall in love with music all over again, because it's like, God, it's not about rolling up in the Rolls Royce. It's about making me feel a vibe. And their vibe, the Hawaiian vibe, is chill out, right?
Right.
So like, I feel that. So they're nailing it. The Hawaiian vibe is not to make you cry in a song or to pump you up. It's to chill out. And, I think about that even when we're writing a rock song or a pop song. Like, am I making you feel the feeling this song is supposed to make you feel? If there's a rock song, are you feeling aggressive and you want to slam a beer?
Yeah.
If you're not, then I'm not writing it well.
So
and her, she's celebrating your 21st birthday in a couple of days.
Yeah.
What kind of life experiences does this person have, right? But for some reason, she's one of those freaks, like we talked about earlier, that she just knows her words well, and like kind of old soul, I think. Like, when I'm writing with her, I don't feel like I'm writing with her. I feel like I'm writing with an
old woman grandma.
Someone who's been through stuff and they're heartbroken. I mean, have you even had a boyfriend before? I don't know. But but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to touch if you want to. How am I going to tell you about love and loss if I haven't experienced it?
Yeah.
Okay, how does that happen? You're 21 years old, so and you're pumping out all these great songs. It has to do, like, there's a lot of emotion. You have to experience it. How do you do that? You're 21.
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much normal people go through. I definitely channel a lot of my own emotions and experience, and I'm super over emotional and dramatic, which channels super well in music and being the most. But aside from that, I guess just I'm a very interested in other people's lives. So even if it's not my story necessarily, I like to pick up on things that other people go through.
I like that.
A lot of the time, if I'm not feeling, like when I'm super emotionally connected to stuff, I actually have a worse time writing because it means so much to me. Like, I want it to be exactly what my heart is feeling. But if my best friend or whatever is going through a heartbreak, I can watch it from an observer and write the story of what they're feeling without judging it.
See, this is why you need to dedicate a whole show to this girl and her songwriting.
There we go.
This girl's written 14 number one songs last year.
Wow. In 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like, I mean, I think we write together well because I have been through a lot of stuff in my 26 years.
Right.
I'm older than that, but I have been
27.
through a lot of stuff, and ups and downs. I mean, everything from divorce to crazy, learning how to be a rock star for the first time stuff, and and then regret and loss of best friends, and I've been through all that. So I think like it works well because as she's saying these great ideas for things, I can interject my own. Like she says, she doesn't like to put her own emotions. I love my own emotions because I'm a singer, because I'm the front guy going to sing. If I'm not telling you my story, what the hell am I doing? The story has to be totally exactly who I am. For me, not all singers are like that, but
right.
I feel like I've got to tell you my story. Every song I sing, and if you watched my concert for an hour and a half, for instance, you would find the 45 minutes that really affected me in my life through my songs. You'd listen to a song and go like, that actually kicked this guy's ass or made him better or was fun for him. And it's not all negative stuff. It's just emotional, right?
Yeah.
You'll hear what actually kicked my ass. And then you'll hear the stuff that maybe didn't, but it doesn't mean that's not something I felt. It's just maybe some songs about like, hey, let's all do this and have a party. Let's have a party. Yeah, I felt that, but it's not connecting with me as I sing it on the fly, So I think we write together well because I insist on interjecting my own personal stories into it. And as she's going down a train of thought for a verse line, I'll go, oh, well, that sounds like this time I did this. And she'll make sure you say this. And she'll go, oh, she wouldn't have experienced that because she wasn't there. So then all of a sudden it turns into this little tornado of words of a story that just sound really cool and really interesting and actually have a very deep meaning. So there's songs I sing that I could barely sing because I want to cry. Yeah. Like swear to God. And not because they're sad.
No,
because
it just means a lot
I'm right there in the zone of like, speaking of a thing that happened to me, going like, we said it's a timestamp, like recordings are timestamp. Mm-hmm. Lyrics and songs are timestamp. So even though the performance is now, the performance is me sitting here right now, I might be thinking of when I was 18.
And when you wrote it and your heart was broken. Or
yeah.
when you wrote it and you were so happy, but that's gone now. It just provokes so many different.
Yeah, or maybe, oh man, I was sitting on the beach in Honolulu. I loved that moment. I had the perfect Mai Tai and I did this and my friends were there and I'm there. So even though I'm in this little dark bar with a little spotlight giving me glaucoma, I'm on a beach. And if I can actually achieve that, you're going to definitely feel that too. Mm. If you're not feeling something, it's because I'm not feeling something. And I don't think that's just for me. I say that for any entertainer. Yeah. If you're not feeling something at the concert, you could go and sit in the nosebleeds. We talked about this earlier. What's the future of music? I mean, hopefully they're not doing it in these giant arenas anymore. That's not what music's intended for. Sitting in the nosebleeds for $200 to watch your favorite act, looking at them with a thing and that sounds echoey. What are you experiencing? You're going to see someone famous. Who gives a shit? I want to go and here's a great question for you, Norm. Do you think who's your favorite artist?
There are. You know what? You asked the wrong guy.
Well, dead or alive, just name me one of your favorites.
Okay. Let's see. I'll say Bob Marley.
Bob Marley. And what about your son? What's his favorite? Is it still on here?
I gotta say, most respected artist of all time is John Coltrane.
Okay, so John Coltrane and Bob Marley, right? I'm going to ask you this question. You don't even need to answer it because you both have the same answer to this question. I'm sure you both never met them. That's correct to say, right?
Correct.
You've never met these artists. You only know about them through the persona that you've seen and through the music that you've heard.
That's right.
If I gave you the option to bring these guys back and you can sit and watch them in their concert at their prime, the best prime of their time, right? Sit and watch their concert for an hour because that's what you love about them, right? Their music.
Yeah.
Or sit and talk to them one-on-one in your house for an hour. What would you choose?
You know what? I probably would have said one-on-one, but it would be absolutely 100% the concert.
Wow. Well, that's the first person I've ever heard say that.
But there's a reason for that. I've had my so-called heroes or mentors, the people that I've looked up to, and I've had a chance to meet these athletes, actors, entertainers, and they broke the image.
Right. Well, that's my point. Most people say, what about you, Hayden? Would you want to sit with them or watch them?
Oh, I know you'd want to probably.
You want to ask him questions.
I'd want to sit.
Yeah.
I'd want to sit right in front of his saxophone.
Well, that's one of the things you could say. You could say, can you play me something right here? I mean, he's right there in front of you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny how that connection works where you don't even know this person. You might have zero in common with this person. You know what they want you to know about the person. And yet it interests you to sit and have a conversation with this person like they're a friend of yours, but they're not a friend of yours, you know? And I think the average person thinks that. So, I mean, we lose that connection in a concert if we can't have a little bit of closeness with the artist. If we can't be somewhat close to the artist, we lose such a connection with them that what does their music even mean to us at this point, you know? Coltrane's a great example. He's a saxophone player, right? Like, he's not telling you words. He's not telling you his story. You're just connecting to his emotional instrument. That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. His story is purely through sound. Like it's no association to anything tangible for us. It's just our brain is putting it together, putting his message together through.
There's no other word for that than magic.
Yeah, I agree.
What else would you call that? I mean, there's nothing scientific about there. Anything. It's just, that's a magical feeling. And I am going back to everything about, you know, all the things you said about what's the future hold and what do you think 2020's done? And I hope it brings back an organic sense of music. And I don't mean that you need to sit there and play an acoustic guitar. I don't mean that. Mm-hmm. Just an organic sense. What is the music? What's the reason to write a song? When she writes a song on her own, or I write a song on my own, or we get together and write a song, there has to be a reason. Yeah. There's plenty of people, believe me, we're both professional songwriters, and there's people in fact, as soon as I'm done with you, we're supposed to write the new Nevada theme song for the Chamber of Commerce. And I have a deadline of a few days, and we have to write this song. And that's not just some interest that came to me as a spark. That's a job, right? Mm-hmm. As a songwriter, I love to write songs, so it's fun, but it's definitely different when you got to write this at this time. As a professional songwriter, you have to have that talent and that knowledge of music. But I think the organic sense of coming up with a purpose to write a song, a reason to write a song, writing it with someone who you can relate to, or writing it by yourself, or writing with a billion people, whatever it is, it's got to have an emotional connection. It's got to be performed by someone with an emotional connection to the song. That's why I'm lucky. When I'm sad, I will write myself a sad song. I feel bad for people like Sinatra and Elvis. And when they feel sad, they have to go out and find sad songs. I feel bad for them. You know, I can't imagine looking for a song that says what I have to say.
Because none ever actually.
Yeah, they're always close. But maybe it says, oh, my daughter, but it's actually my son for me, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I'll just write it. I'll write the song. Therefore, I'm totally connected to it. I'm totally connected to everything I'm doing. And for anyone who doesn't write songs or like that, the trick is to find those songs that are as connected as you can and then make them your own. If it's an instrumental like a Coltrane, he's got to find melodies that totally inspire the way he wants to get that through his horn. I mean, it's the same for anything, but we have absolutely lost the connection and emotional contact of music. Everyone is more concerned with having a laptop and how many plugins they have to make a snare drum sound cool than they are to an emotional connection to a song. And you forget that the people, my girlfriend is a pro dancer, right? She's on the show Dancing with the Stars. And her job is to move her body to certain things. So like having a backbeat right here, and it's all about that. She's not thinking, what are the words saying? Are they tearing her to heartstrings? It's a different mentality. That's a different concept. But I'm just talking about as a listener of music, if you want to sit down and listen to a song, sad, happy, fast, slow, if it doesn't hit you, there's no reason to it. And I hope that the future holds, and that 2020 has shown us a lot of these people who were so pedestaled and famous and cool. Now that we've seen them exposed, we think differently. And maybe we want to see a more intimate version of them. And we don't need a firework to blow off on the downbeat of the chorus, as fun as that is. But maybe we don't need it. Some of them need it. And that's no good. We need to wash that away. Right. I'm all for it. Hey, you want to throw fireworks in my concert? You want Paul McCartney to do Live and Let Die? Blow off some fireworks? I'm already sold on the guy's talent. Right? Now I'm just having a fun party.
Right.
That's fine. But when the new artist comes out with 100 dancers that they're all dressed the same and she's surrounded by them and I don't even know which one is the artist, pantomiming to a perfect recording, what the hell am I watching or listening to? I hope that people wake up and get that. And I'm certainly not knocking anything at all. I love it all. I really do. I'm just saying that I hope the organicness and the true reason for music blossoms a little bit in the upcoming days after we've been through a dark time where we haven't been able to see a concert. I hope that the flower that blooms out of this is reality. And now I'm sure some of us have lost, like I said, you mentioned my dog back there. I've put down 2 dogs. I've lost some really dear friends during this whole thing that I haven't even been able to go attend funerals, and not to get deep or dark, but I've experienced some crazy things that made me just think like, well, and I haven't been making money from touring. So am I going to go out and blow all my money to watch someone come out in a vinyl suit and shoot a firework at me? I'd rather them talk to me and feel like I have someone who understands things I've gone through. They're not my friend. If I go see, whoever in concert, Paul Simon in concert, he's not my friend. I don't know him. You think they're your friends, but they're not actually a friend. But I'm hoping that his story is so strong to me that I walk away going, I feel a little bit better about myself today. I feel like, oh, it's okay. Whatever I'm dealing with, he already went through it, and there's a nice trail blazed that I can follow now.
Right. I used to probably saw David Bowie 3 times in a stadium. So, and there's a reason for this. So, he was a showman, but I got the opportunity to take my wife on our honeymoon. It just happened that I got these tickets to go to a 300-seat arena, the pub, and he played there. And it was so incredible that, there was no, like you said, no fireworks. It was pure music, and he had the band there, and it was the most spectacular concert that I've ever gone to. It was just all there. He's giving it all in that concert to 300 people.
Right. There's nothing like, music is an audio thing. It's not supposed to be about visual. And of course that's become part of it now. But that being said, a stadium is not lending itself. They spent years building perfect rooms in Europe to let you hear the sound of the viola cutting through the room. When it hits that back door, it still sounds good, right? Mm. We have decided to use places that we have football games and make a 4-piece band put some speakers up, and it sounds like ass. I mean, it really does sound like ass. I mean, it's a fun experience because the roar of the energy of the room is a cool thing. That's its own thing, right? But you may as well be at a sporting event or watching a gladiator slay a grizzly bear. I mean, it's all the same vibe of energy. You're not actually paying attention to the music anymore. I'm a musician. I mean, I guess people call me an entertainer or a singer or a songwriter, but I like to get an emotional thing across, and not just, I keep mentioning sad songs. I mean, it's also positive songs, but like just emotion. I like to take an emotion and find the most emotion and drain it out of you. And I never wanted you to walk away from my show going, wow, that guy, what was that guy's name? That guy was awesome. That guy was awesome. Wow, did you hear what he could do? I could do some crazy stuff on a piano, as you can imagine, because I've been playing since I was 3 years old. I mean, I know my way around the piano, I can play behind my back. I can play whatever. Cool. And you'll walk away going, wow, did you see what that guy could do? But you'll remember that for a day, and you'll tell your friend, did you see what that guy could do? Yeah. But if you walked away because you and your wife came out to watch the concert for whatever you said amount of people in a small room, and he hits you emotionally, you're not going to walk away going, wow, did you see what David Bowie could do? You're going to say, wow, didn't that feel good? Like I had a great time. I had a great time.
Yeah.
And if you have a great time, you're definitely going to respond to that artist. I mean, there's plenty of artists that I've seen that I think, wow, that guy's awesome. I want to see him do that again. Like a football player, a guy who could throw a pass. I don't respond to that. I want to go see him do that magical thing, right? Where he throws those super long passes, right? But with an artist, I want him to kick my ass. I want to feel it on the inside. And that's where music has gotten confused. We throw music into a sports arena, and now music has become a sporting event. And it's about the outfit we're wearing, and the hype and the fireworks. But that's not what music's supposed to be. You're supposed to sit by yourself, and music's personal. I don't care who she listens to, and she doesn't care who I listen to. I mean, it's personal. And just because she says, hey, Beyonce's the best, and I go, no, Bruno Mars is the best. Who's the best? I mean, I think Mozart's the best. Who do you think? I mean, Bob Marley and John Coltrane. I mean, we can all agree on good and bad, but there is no best. So music's interesting in that sense. We're just. I think 2020 has made us not be able to see that. Now, there's certainly people who are going to go long to be at a concert, but they want to be at the concert for that social media thing, to post a selfie of themselves at a concert where there's a bright light in the back where you can make out a person. You go, oh, that's Justin Timberlake. I can't really see him, but yeah, I'm there. I'm there. Do you like that? Yeah, 400 likes. Yeah, see, 400 likes. Not because you walked away. And I love Justin Timberlake. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the experience is about the person. I hope I've been doing these things at my small concerts where you can't have your phone. You can't not only video or record it or take pictures. You can't answer a text message. Like, you cannot have your phone. That has been amazing. What a musical experience that has been, to walk out and have this pure attention, quiet when it's quiet, loud when it's loud. It's awesome.
I can't believe people would part with their phones.
It's hard, man. And it's, well, our fans are really cool because we have, again, I hate to say the word fans, our little community of people who like what I do is very devoted. And I think, they watch things like this and what I'm talking about, and I think they either go like, I agree with them or I don't agree with them, right? Mm-hmm. And if they agree, then they go like, yeah, I'm all in. Let's try that. So it's just a matter of, again, going back to the whole thing of finding your crowd, right? Finding who likes what you do.
Wow, this is we could talk for hours.
I'm telling you, I'll do it again if you ever want. You gotta have her on. Like she, if you talk music and songwriting with someone who hasn't experienced a ton of life but knows how to portray that to other people, that to me fascinates me as well.
So we're gonna coax you on.
Yeah. They asked me before. They said like, recommend, who would you recommend on? And I said, well, let me do it first and see what would be good. You'd be good at it.
So that would be great, and that I would be happy to have you on and talking about your experiences, and yeah, it'd be fantastic. So, but one of the things, we're almost down to the last couple of questions here. I still want to, I mean, everything's sounded great, right from the beginning, right through your career. But what's been your biggest hurdle?
The hurdle has been I'm not being accepted for being versatile.
Okay.
And that's, I'm saying that like, that's been really like a mental roadblock for me for my entire career, up until the last few years when all of a sudden we started selling records because I decided just to be versatile. I've always been versatile, and I've always had to, work with this producer, and you need to be pop, or you need to be country, or you need to be this, or you need to be swing or jazz. That has been I don't know how to say a nicer word than mindfuck. I don't know another word to use. That it's really been like having people tell you what they think of your stuff if it's not what you intended it for them to think, mm-hmm. can really detour you from doing it. Mm-hmm. And I see that so much. Like you talked about the little piano player friends of yours that had to go home and practice. Now they don't play piano anymore. It's the same thing with when you're writing a song, when you're a songwriter and you're writing a song, you are putting it. I am literally, if you listen to any one of my songs, you are listening to me tell you a moment that affected me in my life. And if you say to me, that's stupid, I begin to question everything I've done. Mm. I begin to question, is it stupid? Is my life not important? Why am I telling you in the first place? Am I telling you because I want your attention? The answer is I'm doing it because I love to do it and I'm good at doing it and I love to do it. And I don't even know if I'm good at doing it. I hope I am. But I love doing it and I want to express myself, and that's how I do it. Some people need to blow off steam, they go running. I like to put it in music. Good steam, bad steam, whatever steam. But I think the thing is like the hurdle is constantly, and even if they don't tell you it's no good, they just tell you what they think it should be. You know what you should do? You should do this. I mean, up until yesterday, I hear that. Like I hear that every day, right? Yeah. The worst part is when they start incorporating the visual. Wow, you've gained weight. Oh my God, you lost too much weight. I don't like your haircut. Why are you wearing that? As stupid as that sounds, that really starts mentally breaking you down and deteriorating you. I've done 30 number one singles, like I told you this last year. I think I put my picture on one of the covers. I don't even like being seen because I don't even want to open up the door for you to tell me what you think of if I should have shaved closer or should have let it grow longer. Who cares? Right? But people do. And that's sad. It's sad that that's what's become, but that's a hard hurdle. And I constantly talk to her about this because I've already been through a lot of stuff she's trying to go through. And I'm constantly told her, like, you're gonna have people tell you do this or do that or do. She wants to do everything as a young person. She wants to do all of it, right? That's great. But focus on something, nail it, and then move on to the next thing, nail it, move on to the next thing, nail it. We can't write 10 songs in the hour. We write one. Tomorrow we'll write another one, different song, different avenue. And I think a lot of young people are discouraged because piano lessons suck. And nowadays people are doing stuff online where not only are they getting the suckiness of the lesson, but you're having the blind leading the blind. People on there telling you how to become a star rather than telling you how to be great. Be great. Don't be a star. I mean, have I made a lot of money in this business and do people know what I'm doing? Yes. That's the downfall, to be honest. The downfall is having to take. Here's a great example. If you hadn't heard of me from someone, we wouldn't be on here doing this. Right?
Right.
We've been on here, and I love this, and I'm happy we're doing it. But we've been on here for a couple hours doing this when my life is about writing music, not talking about what I've done, right? when you take this and you think of all the things that the more celebrity you get, the more and more times you have to talk about your music. You're not actually doing the music anymore. So in the end of the day, the goal that comes with the thing you enjoy turns into taking you away from the thing you enjoy. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not like trying to sound.
No, it makes perfect sense.
It's the more interviews you do and the more radio spots you have to go do or the more shows I have to do to sing a song I wrote 3 years ago, the more I'm not able to sit here and create. So 2020, as crappy as that is for so many people, I've been able to just sit and create and love it in a room by myself with no one telling me what they think of it. And I'm watching the song sell, and I'm not having to be in front of people seeing their don't like or whatever like that. And that's been a validation for me that I have not had in 40 years, and that's amazing. And I think for like the younger generation coming up, they're watching people go online and say, you know what you got to do? You know what you got to do? Do this. And here's how to find your perfect rock star name. We just watched a video about that the other day. Yeah. If you don't have a good rock star name, you're not going to be memorable, and you're looking at all these people, which is true. Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, Bruno Mars. Those aren't their names. Like, so kids think, oh, if I don't have a cool name, I'm not going to have a good career. And they start questioning their own names. That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. Before they even get into the art to see if their art touches somebody, they're worried about their name. Why are they worried about their name? Because they're worried what you're going to think of them before they even start creating art. And that, to me, destroys the industry. It's destroying it. And not to sound like I'm from the past, I'm the man from the past talking about what music was. We can all agree music is supposed to hit emotion. It's supposed to do something. Even if it's from 1,000 years ago, banging on the drum, hoping it rains. It's supposed to do something. Mm-hmm. It's not just there to play in the background while we're buying celery. I mean, and then you listen to it, and what do we need to write? We need to write a hit hook, because when we're buying our celery in the grocery store, we need to make sure we know the hook. Oh yeah, I know that song. Great. You're not listening to the song. I mean, as a songwriter, it's sad to see that, but that's what it's become. So I'm hoping that all changes around, and I'm hoping that like artists start stopping the streaming we were talking about earlier. Like, stop trying to be famous by having 1 million people stream you for free. You'll be famous for 20 minutes, and you're going to get some free junk from companies that want you to wear their watches and their Nike shoes. But then no one cares about you because the next guy comes in. Just like all these contestant shows, these game shows. Who wants to be the next rock star? Great, they're a rock star right now. Oh, the show starts again. Next season starts in 2 weeks. Now you don't care about the one that just won. Mm-hmm. What are we building? We are building fast-paced, get rid of it, garbage. We're building garbage. Garbage meaning it's not bad, but garbage meaning you have it for a minute and then you throw it away. I don't want that. I want a career. I don't want a hit song and you remember me for my one hit song, I want a career. And that is the trouble that comes with all that is juggling that. And it's hard, man. I mean, it's like, I've been lucky, I mean, I know that. I know I've been lucky, and I know I've been blessed with certain things that maybe other people wish they had, but it doesn't mean I work any less hard, doesn't mean anything. I'm older than her, she's younger than me. It doesn't mean we don't work as hard. I mean, you got to work. You got to know that everyone is standing behind you, ready to take you down, to be in front of you. Can you imagine living like that every day? I mean, the more successful you get, the harder it becomes. Mm. And people think, oh, I just want that hit song, man. I just want that hit song. But now you got a hit song. Now say goodbye to sleeping until noon. Now you wake up at 5 o'clock and get on an airplane and do a radio interview every day. That gets really old to talk about the same thing, to talk about, how did you write this song? I don't know. We wrote the damn song in 20 minutes. I don't know. I mean, it's a tune. I wrote it on a guitar. I mean, what I heard Paul McCartney made a joke about that. How do you write your songs? He goes, on instruments. There's no depth to it other than know what you're talking about, write it, hope other people want to get into that. And to find that, like, I've been very fortunate to have found that lately, but it's taken me a long time. I mean, you know, we walk into a room now of a place we're doing a show, and I walk on stage at Carnegie Hall now, and I have this overjoyed sense of validation from that, right? And there's whatever, how many people, couple thousand people fit in the room screaming as you walk on the stage. And that's all great. But when I walk out there, I walk out with a sense of, because I've done this so long, I walk out with a sense of like, wow, you know what it took to stand on this stage? I don't look at it like, yes, scream for me. You know, and I fear that a lot of the younger generation aren't looking for that feeling of pride in it. They're just looking for the quick fix, the quick fame, and the buck. I never tried to make, mom was broke forever playing music. You know, I mean, even the guys that you think are rich making music, they're not rich because they're spending all their money trying to look rich. There's no money in music. I mean, like I said, 1 million streams is a couple $1,000 split up between people. Where do you think these people, and how many songs does a person put out in a year? I mean, not me, but someone puts out a song or two a year and make a couple $1,000. How are they paying their rent?
Right.
The record labels are giving them money to buy limousines, and they owe that money back. So they die broke. You know, their children then take on their pay. I hope that that's what happens. I hope it's an organic sense of, if you want to be a rock star, that's awesome, but want it because you love music. You're a fan of music, not because you're a fan of fame. That's bad. You know, I think. What the hell do I know?
That's great. A great answer. All right. So it's almost 2.5 hours within 30 seconds. This is crazy, but we're winding down. You're off the hook. I've got one question for you. Every guest. So at the end of every episode, we ask our guests, do they know a guy or a gal to be on the episode?
Well, yeah, I would say again, I think, first of all, this was great, man. Honestly, like, I had no idea what this was going to be. And I do things like this all the time. And I like the questions you guys asked. It felt really real. And I love that. So thank you for letting me do this. And that's why I said, you know, I do these all the time. But I said, when you said, hey, do we know a guy? I wanted to see what this was, to see what kind of guy I know. I really think the fact that you guys showed interest in the things I was talking about the songwriting and the emotional part, I think Gianna Adams here would be a great one for you, because I think she's an up and coming, you know, she's a name that is, you know, you're going to know. And, you know, she's got more hit songs to her name in this last couple of years than most huge writers have in a lifetime. And you just don't know her yet, because now we're not faced with, like we talked about earlier, we're not faced with the few people that are out in the media. We're faced with everyone has access to the entire world. Mm-hmm. So how do you be heard through all that noise? The answer is stop trying. Just be good. She's achieved great things. She's done a lot of stuff with me. I think she'd be a great interview because she knows so much without having any idea why she knows it. And I don't mean that. I mean that in a great way. Like, she knows a lot without having to have gone through it for some weird reason, and that fascinates me. So I think it would interest you too.
That'll be great. And we've already met, so even better. This has been a real treat. Thanks a lot.
Me too, man. I feel the same way. So thanks for having me.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right, buddy. Take it easy.
Yeah. Bye.
See you then.
Thanks for listening. That concludes this week's episode. Up next week, we have Karan Nanjia from the Nicecast. Karan is an established podcaster and producer, most known for the Nicecast. We touch on some of the behind-the-scenes aspects of running a podcast and some of the heat that he's experienced from touching on certain subjects. We definitely learned a lot from this one. Anyway, make sure to check it out. That's enough of me, and I'll see you next time.